Welcome back, and in this video we're going to start working on our posts. And if you don't already have your dashboard open, make sure you log into your site, and you can look at previous videos for this as well. And what we're going to be doing in this video is going through and creating our posts which make up our portfolio site. So if you haven't already, I'm going to right click and open link in new tab up here. So I have my site open. Here it is. And we got our pages done in the last video. So under contact, we did our contact form and a few other, there we go. There's our contact form. We brought a picture in, showed you how to do that. We formatted some text as well. We're going to be doing more of that today. So I'm going to leave this open. I'll go back to the home page. I'm going to go back to my dashboard. And you might notice too, you have a lot of other stuff open now. You can always drag these and rearrange them. And these are from the plugins that we installed in previous videos. So you can rearrange as needed here if you want to. I'm not too worried about that. And what we're going to be working on is content to fill in these three areas: our Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign. And this could be anything that you want it to be. I'm just using this as my example. So one of the things, I'm going to need some content, and in previous videos we've used Pexels or P-E-X-E-L-S or Pixels. I don't know how it's pronounced, but this is free stock photos. If you read up on it, lots of stuff in here that we can work with. And really all we're doing is, and I think I'm going to stick with donuts. I used donuts earlier for the favorite icon up here, the fav icon. So instead of having Photoshop and Illustrator and everything else, I'm going to grab a bunch of photos so we can upload. And I'll get to that here once we start building out. So our first one is going to be under Photoshop and photo editing. So for every item that you have in your portfolio and or on a page, we're going to be creating an individual post for each. So let's say I did photo editing for a wedding. Then I would have that wedding as a post. I wouldn't put multiple photo editing things on that post. Think of each individual item as its own post. Just like if we were writing articles, each individual article or story or whatever it may be, or blog post would be its own post. By doing that, we're able to then categorize them, which we create categories in one of the previous videos so we can build our menu. We can take a single post and then put them into each of the categories, if that makes sense. So you can have a post in multiple categories, or you can apply multiple categories to one post. Pages don't allow us to do that. Pages are static. So I'm going to go into posts. And we've got a few posts in there right now. I think I duplicated one a while back. There we go. Clicked on posts. And if you haven't noticed, you may have this thing called WordPress 5 is available. Please don't update that right now. That is a major, major update. Leave it alone. You can update your plugins like we did in the last video. But I'm going to complete this series using 4.8, and then I'll do a little quick preview of 5 in a separate video series. But for right now, I'm sticking with what we got because I don't want to throw a curveball to everyone. You don't have to update to 5. But 5 is a major update to WordPress, so keep that in mind. I'm going to get rid of these two, the Hello World and Hello World copy, so I can click on the little checkbox. I can do a bulk action, move to trash, and apply. I don't need these. These are the basic Hello World that comes built in with WordPress. There we go. They are gone now. And they are in the trash. If we look here under trash, they're not gone forever. I said they're gone, but they're not gone forever. And if you want to empty the trash, which you have to do like on your desktop or Mac or PC, click on empty trash. And that will wipe these out forever from the database. And it is important that you empty the trash. You could end up with hundreds of posts in here that are still in the system. And if something is in the trash and it has the same name as something that isn't, you're going to have a conflict, and the newer of the two will get a copy at the end, or you'll have to rename it. So we want to make sure we keep a nice kind of clean desktop here. If you throw stuff away, empty the trash. So I'm going to add a new post. And I've already created categories. We did that in a previous video. Like I said, to create our menu system, we had to have our categories in place. That's why the sitemap, which I had my classes do, it creates a blueprint. So sitting down saying which pages you're going to have, what your menu is going to look like, will allow you to then come in and create what's needed. So our very first area that we're going to build for is photo editing. So I said weddings, so we're going to do that. And I'll call it like, I don't know, Hawaii wedding. How's that? So now we're going to have to add media, or we're going to have to add some other stuff to this. Real quickly, for those of you just tuning into this video, I talked about in the last, this system right here that you see is actually the Tiny MCE plugin, and it adds a little bit more functionality than WordPress has built in, including font selections. I have it turned on. If yours doesn't look exactly like this, that's fine. You can work without it. You can work with just the base WordPress one. So I'm going to write something up for this. I always like to put something on my portfolio page. These are photos that were taken on, I don't know, 7/7. Let's make it a little bit nicer. On July 7th, 2018, on the island of Hawaii. It can be a lot more than that. And I like to put some type of descriptor in here, explaining it, maybe. You know, I don't know, Mark III or something like that, and edited in Photoshop. So very simple, but just having images, I don't mind that. It works, but I like to have a little bit of something. So now, here's my issue. I have, let's say, 5 or 6 photos to put up here. Let's make it 6, just because it's a nice even number. I need to present them in some way. I could just put them one after another, and you can click on them and they would blow up. But I want to put them in a gallery, and WordPress has built-in gallery. So I need to grab some photos. I'm going to go back over here, and I'll just type in wedding. Perfect. So I'm going to grab 6 pictures here, and you can download them right over here, free download. And I do suggest, if you are going to use them for real, any photos from here, make sure you give credit and link back and everything. So they're free for personal and commercial use right here. So there's lots of stuff you can pull from here. Main reason I'm showing you this too is, in the end, you want to make sure, whoops, we want to make sure something went wrong here. Let's hit refresh. Uh-oh. Did I lose my internet connection? I think I did. Sorry about that. Had to fix my internet connection, so a little weird jump there. But I'm going to download the rest of these. I don't know. As long as we got about 6. So I think I've downloaded 6, 7, 8 of them. Now I've got my images. And once again, I cannot stress the importance of sitting down and going through and getting all of your images together and all the stuff you need, PDF files, whatever it is, for your site. And also to writing out copy. Having the copy that you need to copy and paste into here instead of just writing it for everyone. It really is kind of a personal preference on how you want to approach this, but you want to make sure everything's collected before you start building a ton of stuff. And it's good too just to sit down and know what you have. Put it in folders, organize it on your desktop, make them into JPEG files, and then we can upload them. So I want to add a gallery down here. So I can do add media. I'm going to click on upload files. So add media, upload files. Now I can just upload these, or over here on the left we have create gallery. We also have create audio playlists and create video playlist. We're not going to use these two because we're not uploading any audio and video. I will show you how to not upload, but take video from YouTube and put it in, or we can insert from a URL from other places. But if I click on create gallery, you'll notice it just changes up here to create gallery, and it looks the same. But if I select files, and I have them in my download, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, perfect. I can hold down the control key and select just those images, or I can upload them, but I'm selecting, don't do a select all because I'd upload some other files here that we don't want, like Excel files and things like that. So you can always use the control key on the PC, and I believe it's the Apple key on the Mac, just to select the items that you want. And I'll click open. It's going to take a second for these to upload. There's 1, there's 2. And the reason it's slow is it is free hosting. So they do throttle you, and it isn't the fastest, the hosting that we've been using in the class and in the video series. So let's get all these up and going. So you can see you want to upload everything. Then the next thing we're going to do, and we could do this as these are uploading. If you click on any of these, you'll notice over here under attachment details, there's titles. So I would say something like Hawaii wedding kissing. And I would take this and use it for the alt text as well. And then I would do the same for each of these. You want to describe these. You want to put a title and an alt tag on both of them. Captions, you only put captions if you want to have a caption underneath the image. Or if you have captions built in, you can do that through Photoshop. You can embed them, EXIF information. Descriptor or description is what we see on our side in WordPress. So I would do that for each of these. Take your time and do them. In terms of us, I'm just going to do the one as an example. You should do all the rest. So down the bottom right, it should say create a new gallery. If not, click on create gallery. It will change it up here. This should not change. And if you want to not put up certain images, you can uncheck. Thing is, though, we want them all. I'm not holding the shift key down, and you just click on them and you get the little checkbox. Over in the right here, we have create a new gallery. So I'm going to click on that. Now we can drag and drop to reorder these. So maybe I want this one first, and then I want that, and then maybe that in between, and that afterwards, and that last. I can caption these here if I want to. I can have captions, but I don't want them on this one. And over here on the right is the gallery settings. Link to. We want to link to the media file, not the page. The media file will do the pop-up. Remember, we installed a plugin for our galleries, and if you don't link to the media file, you're not going to get the nice smooth pop-up. How many columns? So we have 6. We could, in our layout, probably 3 columns across is fine. So we'll stick with that. You can random order these. So if we had tons of them, you just want them to show up in a different order, you can randomize them. Size, we want to do thumbnail, medium, large, or full. Well, we want thumbnail. This will do these little thumbnails that we see here. And when WordPress, when we uploaded these images, what ended up happening was the images themselves got turned into 3 different ones by WordPress. A thumbnail, a medium, a large, and then there's always the original. So we have 4 files. It created 3 new ones. We uploaded one and created 3 more. Then under type, we have a grid, mosaic, square tiles, circles, tilted tiled columns, and a slideshow. We're going to stick with thumbnail for the moment because it's the most basic one. And I'm going to click Insert Gallery. And there we go. So if I publish this, which is fine, you should see it on your home page once it publishes. If I refresh my home page, because our home page is built to show posts. There we go, Hawaii wedding. There's the 3, and watch what happens when I click. We get the nice built-in layout. And it shows us the full size over here too, which is nice. Close it. Oops. I clicked on contacts, so sorry about that. And that's our gallery. Now, if I want to make edits to this gallery, I can. I can click on Edit button. And over here, I can make it circles. I'll update it. I don't know why it didn't convert, but we'll find out. We'll update it. There we go. We get circles. They kind of overlap a little, so that's why we're getting, and it's the spacing here. And that's the theme. We also have the mosaic, the square tiles, but I'm going to go back and stick with thumbnail grid here. So you can see where you can build out your portfolio pages, or if you're a photographer, how quickly it is to actually have a really nice, clean layout. You'll notice too, we now have Hawaii wedding showing up, the archives turned on. This was put under blog. So let's look at the rest of this before we jump back in and edit more of the content. So below is something we didn't see earlier. Now, we did have it on the page, but I didn't get into it. This is our search engine optimization window now. So right here is what it would look like on, this is the preview on Google. So if we did a Google search, we would come in here and do that. Or sorry, this is what it would look like. So right now I don't have a meta description. If you don't, Google will try to find a relevant part of your post to show in the search results. So I could copy this, click here, and put in a description. So you can see here, this is the title, this is the URL, and now I have a meta description. So it's always good to do this. This is why I like having it here. Is once I get my content built, then I come down and start working on the SEO. So from a readability, it says it's pretty good. So I'm using an active voice, a variety of my sentences. I didn't write too much, but you know, it's great for the sentence length, paragraph, nothing's too long. The copy scores an 83.1, which is considered easy to read. Transition words, none of the sentence contain transition words. And if you click on these, it will actually, like here, I pushed the domino, as a result it fell over. So it's up to you if you want to go through each of these. This will help you with your search engine optimization. This one, I've said this before in some of my other videos, this can just be a video in itself. What I'm covering here is the basics, just to get things up and running. So focus key phrase. So what we want to do in here is we can add synonyms, I can't pronounce that today, but you know what it means, and related key phrase. But our key phrase, what is the key phrase? It's the adding good content, and it looks for that key phrase. Like right here, image SEO. There's the key phrase for it. So we can get into this, but at a bare minimum, this would be Hawaii photography, right? We could add these, but it wants to go the premium. So that's close enough. Or if we just did Hawaii or Hawaii wedding. So down here it says they don't appear in the first paragraph. The meta description has been specified, doesn't contain the key phrase. Text length, the text contains 27 words, far below the recommended, So these are some issues that we can work on and try to make it better. Some of these are short. You can go through all of this. You can really sit here and tweak this out. But for what we're doing, just keeping it simple. You can always come back and fix these later. But what we're looking for is really the meta description and putting in our key phrase. There's also cornerstone content. So if you have content that should be marked the most important and extensive articles on your site. So let's say you have one part of your portfolio, like for my portfolio, my Emmy stuff. So all the things that go along with my Emmys that I worked on and did all the work for, then those would be cornerstone. If it's something else, then you don't want to mark it. And so that tells the search engines and your sitemap that this is a cornerstone. So I'm going to update this real quickly. And so now after I updated, all of this is set. So at a bare minimum here, but I really, really suggest that you read through all the stuff that they have. His website is pretty much everything you're going to need to know at a starting point for search engine optimization. All right, so we have that set, but the premium side of it's going to add more functionality. This is the basics. Now we're not done here. I want to talk about the publish and format. So over in publish again, we have status, publish, because we hit publish and we updated it. We could turn this off and go back to a pending or draft if you want to just put this away and not the public not to see it. And then we have visibility. So if I want this to always be on the home page, the front page, as the very first thing that shows up on the home page, I can click here and stick this post to the front page. It's called making it sticky. I can put a password on this, make it password protected, and I can also make it private. And what private means is if other users have a login, the only way they can see it is by logging in as a user on the site. There's been 3 revisions. If I open this, and you don't need to open it, but it will show you the revisions and the differences between the two. So you can go backwards if you really screw something up. You can move through time up here. So that's where we go for the revisions. Then it shows you where you've published it. You can also duplicate the post here. So if you want to make another one, which is great if you have a lot of, let's say, wedding photo ones, and it's the same format. All you got to do is go in and then change these items. You can duplicate the post here. Publicize, not connected, and what you could do is connect your Facebook, your Twitter, your LinkedIn, your Tumblr, and your Google+. And this will then push out an update showing that you've published this. Be careful on that, because if you're doing a lot of editing on the site, you don't want this getting pushed out constantly. Readability is good, and SEO is okay. Now these are the plugins that add these items. Jetpack, as well as the Yoast SEO. So all that's good. I'll just hit OK and hit OK here. You can also move to the trash and click update. And if you notice, the pages are set up pretty much the same. So what I'm covering here is also good for pages and vice versa. So we'll update it. While that's updating, let's talk about format. Now, if you had just an image on here, you can set this as just an image or a video or a quote or just a link. There's also just galleries. And so based on your theme can use these in different ways. The theme we have, standard's pretty much what you're going to use. But if you get into themes that want you just to put in images, you can create a post, just put an image in here, title it, set it under format as an image, and then it can use it in different ways. I'm actually going to close this up because I don't use it that much. Let's well, we'll go through categories next. So categories, we've created these already. And they are our pull down menus that we've created. So if I come in here and turn off blog, and it defaulted to blog because that is our default, and I put Photoshop and photo editing. So right now Photoshop is the primary, photo editing is not the primary. Now we have to think about this. Do we want our stuff as top level Photoshop, or do we want this as a primary underneath it? I'm going to leave this as is because everything falls under Photoshop for that category and then goes out, and I can create others. But we may need to add a new category as well. So instead of going back into post categories, you can add new ones here too. Right now for this one, I'm not going to do that, but I am going to set it. And if you want to go to most used, as you work, you'll see more and more. Sometimes it's faster if you've got 50 or 60 categories just to pull up the most used. But for right now, Photoshop and photo editing. Tags. Tags are used as kind of like keywords, and WordPress can sort by the tags and kind of put them together. I don't use them that often at all anymore, so it's up to you. But keep in mind, you can have multiple tags. You can put 50 tags on this instead of just one category. I'm actually going to close this up just to get it out of my way. But tags allow you to put multiple keywords on a page. They're different than the keywords from the SEO. They're what WordPress uses. And we can categorize in a way. We can group by tags. That's probably a better way of saying than categorizing. We can group by them. So Ninja form. You can put a form at the bottom down here of the page or post if you want to. In my case, I don't want that, but you could. I could put contact me or the questionnaire, and then it would show up not in the content, but below down here. And there are times you want that. Maybe it's a sign up form. Like we can just have it at the end. It says sign up for our mailing list or send us questions or something like that. Sharing, showing the sharing buttons if we have the buttons on here, and I don't see them. So, I don't think we turn it on in the widgets, but you can have that turned on. And I believe that actually came from Jetpack. That's a Jetpack thing. And then featured image. So featured image, I'm going to move up all the way to the top here. So you can rearrange these if you want to. And I forgot to do one. Before we do featured image, post expiration. So this is a very powerful plugin that we installed. You can enable this to end. So if I want this to close in January, I can set it January 2019, not 18, because it would turn itself off right away when I hit submit. And what hour, what minute, and does it become a draft? Do you delete it? Do you put it in the trash? Does it become private? Does it become sticky? Does it become unsticky? What category? So you can move categories. This becomes a very powerful feature if you have, let's say, a newspaper, magazine, or blogging website, and you want to move your content around after, let's say, a month. You want to put things in an archive. Well, you can set this up to automatically move things around. At a bare minimum, I just like to expire posts that are no longer needed on the page. Let's say you had a site with events and you have a concert on the home page and the concert's over. Well, you can set it to go to archives or to delete. So this little box is generated by our plugin, Post Expirator. And I like to move, I'll leave it where it is. And then the featured image I dragged up and put really up here at the top, because we need to set a featured image. So I'll click featured image. And what's our best photo here? I think this one. So this is our featured image. I'll set it. And there it is. So let's update it and see what we get. Hopefully not a mess, right? Sorry about the speeds here, but we are done. It's updated. So I'm going to hit refresh. This is my home page. and we get this nice featured image, then we get the gallery. Now the problem is, if I add one more thing, it's going to show up above it. And if it's long, you're going to see the whole post here. If I click on this, it takes me to that post. Here's the big featured image. Real nice. I mean, it's big, isn't it? And now I get this. Oh, and there's the share this. I'm sorry. The share this, remember that button I talked about earlier, is here. But does a nice job, right? Well, my problem is, though, if I go back, what if I don't want these galleries to show up here? Well, then I need to go back in and actually set my read more. So we brought in some photos. We got our featured image set. And as you can see here, featured image is here. And my problem is, when I go back to the home page, this entire post shows up. But what if I just wanted to have the paragraph show up and not the rest of this? So what we want to do is you place the cursor where you want to basically cut everything off. And we can go to Insert, and it's Insert Read More tag or More tag. You'll also see it here, for those of you who don't have the pull down, Insert More tag. So you place your cursor and insert the more tag. And you get this dot, 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 and more. Now when I update it, so we get the more tag now that we've updated it. And if I go back to the home page and click home, now on the home page, it shows me my post, but you'll see Hawaii wedding. Oh, there's my big image. I read it, go, oh, continue reading. That's what the more tag creates, is the continue reading. This only works on posts and only on listings. So if I go to Photoshop now, same thing. Category Photoshop. Then I would have my next one and my next one with the images. So that's how this theme handles it. So if I go to photo editing, I get the Hawaii wedding as well now. So category, photo editing. And if I added another one in here, I would get the same thing. So let's say I want to add a video in. So the easiest way, and the way I'm going to suggest, is you actually put these on YouTube or on Vimeo, but I prefer, the best way to put it is on YouTube. You're going to get much more traffic and everything. So I don't know, let's put wedding photography. Whatever comes up is good. So here we go. Full behind the scenes. So I want to place this image. So I'll copy the URL. I'll go back and I'm going to paste the URL. So I put a return after the gallery and I'll paste it in. If you hit a return again, you'll notice it converts over and embeds the image. Sometimes it does it right away. And that time I just had to hit return. And if I update it, server's still a little slow. And I'll hit refresh here. Now when I click on Hawaii wedding, there's the big image and there's the video. And it will stretch it to the width. I'm going to update this just to make sure it is updated to the newest version here. And after that sets, one of the plugins that we installed earlier was Table Press. And I do want to show you how that works. I'll wait for it to update. There we go. Now we can insert a table. And this is using the plugin that we installed earlier, which was the Tiny MCE. We can put a table in here. We can tell how many rows, how many columns, and then insert it. But then we're going to have to put in all the data. And that is great if it's just a really quick thing that we're updating. But let's say I have a whole bunch of data from a Microsoft Excel document that I need to put up. That's where Table Press comes in. So what I'm going to do, it's just like our forms that we did last video with Ninja Forms. So if I go into Table Press and I just click on it, it will give us a list just like posts or pages of all the tables we've created. As I said, sorry, we're running a little slow here. So there's no tables found. What's great is we can add a new table if we wanted to and build it from scratch. And you'll notice we edit the table here, and then we'll be inserting it into a post or a page. So we can enter the table, put a description, number of rows, number of columns. But what I'm going to do, and that's pretty straightforward, that's just like working in Excel. I'm going to go to the import, and we're going to import from an Excel file, because this is probably what you would use it for before just creating a new table. So we can upload the file, and we get what import format. So if it's on a server, it's manual, URL, or file upload. So you can bring in an Excel file, which is XLS, or a CVS, which is the comma delimited file. You can add as a new table, replace an existing, which is great because let's say you had a file that gets sent to you every day and you needed to update it on the website. You could just replace it and it would update itself. But I'm going to choose a file, and I have some files actually. And I believe this is the one. So this is an Excel file I downloaded. It's total usage from one of the sites that I work on. And this is CSV. We're going to add as a new table, and we'll import it. And what's nice about this is it's going to generate the table based on my Excel spreadsheet. Sorry, we gotta give it a minute to upload. And there we go. So you can see it brought everything in. It's not the funnest of data. Like you're looking at it going this, so okay, what are we doing? But it was a short file. This could have went on like for hundreds and hundreds of tables or rows and columns. But it's a usage summary. We can sort by ascending, descending. You can actually delete. And I'm not going to get into all the details on this. I really just wanted to show you what a plugin like this can do for you. It adds so much more to your overall usability of WordPress. So I have my layout here. We can insert images into here as well. We can combine cells. If you had two cells you want to, or two rows that you want to combine, you can select them and combine them. I'm not going to do any of that. And what's really cool about this too is you could do alternating colors. So the rows will be alternating colors. Highlight the row while the cursor is floating over it. So there's a lot of settings here. I'm going to hit save. And the reason I put this in here is I get a lot of questions about this. They're like, I have an Excel document, I need to upload it. You know, how do I keep it updated? This plugin does it for you. Okay, so we have it. Now, up at the top, it actually says if you put this shortcode, and we used shortcodes before when we worked with Ninja Forms, all this is telling WordPress to do is go to the database table press, find number 1, which is our layout here, or our table, I mean, insert it into the page. So I can copy this, and I'll copy it just in case. Or if I go back to my posts, we do have a tool that will allow us to insert it as well. So I go back to my Hawaii wedding. And I want to insert this after the YouTube. Oops. So I'll place my cursor, hit return. I'll come up here to insert a table from TablePress. This will not appear unless you have the plugin. You won't get TablePress over here either. But when you insert a table from TablePress, right there. So you can search them all, but this is the one we imported. I'll insert the shortcode. You can see it's very small. This is now calling back out to the database and bringing in the table. We'll update it. And once again, sorry, it's a little slow. We're getting there though. While that's loading, or that's updating, we're going to be able to update this page. There we go, it's finished. I hit reload. And it loads up. And it's kind of a mess because it's too wide, because it's very wide. But you can see it's all here, and we can always add it if we needed to. We can click add it, and it'll take us in there. And there's 15 entries on this, so much too wide. But you can see from a layout standpoint too, it needs a little bit of cleanup, but I can work on that if needed. So I just wanted to show you what a plugin can do. Once again, there's just thousands of these, but if you can think of something and you can't find it in WordPress, look for a plugin. Like, I want to insert an Excel file. This is how we do it. Right now, it's not the prettiest, but it gives us searching. We could search this. You can sort by each of the columns. And I know, I'm sorry, it's a little tough to see here. And you can even see where when you're rolling over it, it highlights. So lots and lots of really nice things for it to work from. Now, we want to build this out. We are going to create some more posts. We need enough posts to fill these out, so we need at least 2 more. I'm going to add a couple more in too. I'm going to do another photo editing right now. So I'm going to go back to my wedding pictures here, and let's just pick a photo. We're going to work with just one picture here. That one's kind of cool. Actually, let's do 3 pictures. That one's kind of cool. Once again, pick whatever you want. I don't, it's not one of those we have to have. And one more. So it's 3 pictures we're going to add to my next one. So I'll go into posts, add new. I'll walk through this a little faster than I did the other one because there's not a lot to add, but we're still going to do everything. Okay, so title. This will be random weddings. It's kind of a mix of everything. So this is a gallery of random wedding photos I have taken. The return, we're going to do the add more tag, put another return, and now we're going to add media. We'll do create gallery. I'm going to select the files. Which ones were they? It was this one, and I'm holding down the control key. This one, and I believe it was the cake. These 3. I would go through and change the titles here once they upload. Give it a second to upload. Change the title, change the alt text. Change the title, change the alt text. Do it on those. Make sure they are selected. Before we do anything, we need to make sure they render. Don't jump ahead. But you can change the titles and alt tags as the others are loading. There we go. So these 3 are now loaded. I can create a new gallery. We go link to media file, not the attachment page. Columns, we'll do 3. We'll do random order. It'll just reorder these every time it reloads. We'll do thumbnails. And the type, let's try, I don't know, tiled mosaic. I don't even know what that does. Let's find out. I'm going to insert the gallery. SEO. I'm going to grab my little write-up. I'll click on meta description. Paste it in. And then my focus key phrase. I don't know, random wedding photos. Okay. This is not cornerstone content. So this is not it. We're not going to do that. So the two things, bare minimum, that we're doing for the SEO. Once again, there's more to this, but this is the bare minimum. We haven't published it yet. Let's set the featured image. I don't know, I like that one. There it is. If it loads, there we go. Then category. This is Photoshop and photo editing. Now let's say I wanted to add another category. I can click add new category and we can call it wedding photos, because all of a sudden I've got lots of wedding photos. The parent would be Photoshop, and as I add this, it will now appear here. There we go. I don't know why it didn't load, but now I've got wedding photos. So that looks good. I'm not going to expire it. I'm not going to append a form and show the sharing buttons. So you can see once you get going here, these don't take that long. You just got to have everything in place. You got to go find the photos, download them, having them in folders is good, having your write-ups done. If not, you know, just doing it as you go here. And you can always come back and edit and change these as well. Now I'm going to click publish. Now common sense would say, oh great, we're going to get a new menu item, right? Wedding photos. It doesn't really work that way. I wish it did. But once this loads, sorry, C-Slug here, we'll be able to go in, hit refresh, and we should be able to, there it is. I want to show you what's happened. I go under Photoshop, I don't get that. I have to add that, and we're going to do that in a second. I'm going to have to add the category to the pull down. It doesn't automatically. So when I create a new category, it does not automatically populate here. We have to go into the menu and do it. But now when I go to home, we should have two posts. Random weddings, because that's the newest one. There's our picture. And then it says continue reading. Then we have Hawaii wedding, and we have the Hawaii stuff. If I go to photo editing, it's going to be the same thing. But now, if I go into appearance menus, I want to add under Photoshop the category for wedding photos. So if I select it and add to menu, so I'm in menus, under appearance menus. I went to view all under categories, not pages, but categories. It added it. Now I can drag it up and put wedding photos. And it's a sub-item under Photoshop, not a sub-item of photo editing. See how they kind of offset here? And if we hit save menu, and I go back and hit refresh, doesn't matter what page I'm on, we now get the wedding photos. And if I click on it, it will only show me this one. Instead of two under photo editing, I only get one under wedding photos. So this post is under multiple categories. All right, we need to create the rest of our posts here. So we need a logos and some books. So I'm going to make this real quick. I'm going to type in donuts. And let's just grab some donuts. These are going to be my logos. Or actually, it doesn't matter. We just need something. So I'm going to grab a handful of donuts. I already did that one. What else? And then the other one is books. Lots of books. All right, you can see I just grabbed stuff, but we have to have something to work with. So let's add new. So the first one's logos, so I'll call them donut logos. How's that? I'm just making this stuff up as I go. But you can see where if I just had a bare minimum of content, yeah, donuts. I guess it's multiple. Whatever. It's close. These are great. So now what I'm going to do is insert more tag, and then anything after it, when I add the media, select file, and let's get some donuts. Once again, I'm just holding down the shift, or not shift, the control key, and grabbing some donuts. We'll upload these, give it a second. And if you notice, I didn't click on create gallery because I can do that after I added the media. So if you forget to start with a create gallery, you can upload everything and then go over to it. Whatever loads. Uh-oh. We got a sea slug going on here, don't we? Sorry about the little skip there, but I got it to upload. Server's still running slow, so I have all the images here. They're the donuts. They're going to pretend they're my logos, and I've uploaded them. But look over here. We have the add media. I didn't jump to create gallery, but if I do that, you'll see it just automatically jumps over to create gallery. Now I can create a new gallery. We're going to do media file as always. We'll do, I don't know, let's do 2 columns just to show you the difference. Random order, thumbnail size, and let's do circles on this one. We'll insert the gallery, and there's my donuts. I'll copy my descriptor, go down, let's look at the SEO. I'll paste that in, and we'll put a key phrase. We'll call it, I don't know, donut logos. Then under publish, nothing. We got to set a featured image, so we want to do a which one? I don't know. I like that one. We'll set the featured image. While that's loading, this is going to be, well, it's not really Illustrator, but it's going to, whoops, sorry about that. These are going to be my logos. There's no other changes here, so let's publish. And then we're going to create one more for the books. Now I can go on and on with this. I can create a whole bunch more pages here, but I'm going to just do one more so we have enough to start working with our layout. We'll have something in every one of these. And now from that point, the next videos are going to be about the widgets and the overall theme and kind of finishing things up. There we go. And let's add a new post, and this will be our last one. I don't know, we'll call it what, published books or something like that. Remember, if we don't add that more tag, we're going to see the galleries on the home page and elsewhere. So this will be our last one. These are this, or let's do this. This is a series of books that I published. It was a paper series. Put a return, our enter key, read more tag, and let's add another set of media. We'll go to upload files, we'll select. This time it is books, so we'll select all of these. You can do these one by one too. We'll hit open, and let's get some books. Hopefully we don't have any upload problems. Nope, looks like we're okay. I would go in and set the title and the alt tag for each of these. Just to save time, I won't, but you can see we're already starting to get a lot of stuff in here. By doing the title and the alt tags, we can search the media too. Makes it much easier. So if you're looking for something, you got hundreds and hundreds of these. Labeling is important. Got to be patient. My server's slow. All right, so I'm only add media. If I added right now, I would just add a whole bunch of images. We got to go to create gallery. And I will create a new gallery from these. And this one, I don't know. We got to do media file. And I don't know. Let's try square tiles. And we'll insert the gallery. We would do the same thing as before with the SEO. I would go in, click on it, put in the meta description, put in the key phrase, we'll call it books. Over here on the right, we have set featured image. That looks like a good one. And we will add in InDesign and books. And we'll publish. I would do this over and over again until I have all of my pages done, or posts, I mean. I have to be careful when I say posts and pages because there is a difference. We've gone over it. So these are posts. They're categorized. So when this finishes loading, there it is. Let's go to the home page. I want to show you what's going on the home page. The last thing was published books, right? So that's the newest post will always be first. Then we had donut logos, random weddings, Hawaii wedding, and those are our 4 posts that we've created. So now there's one under each of these. If I go to published books, we're going to get the gallery. There's the big image. And as you can see, this is a little different than just having the little, this is the tiled one. And we get the nice gallery. Does a good job. Over here we have recent posts, so this is pulling my widgets, so the sidebar has widgets in it. If I go back to the home page, we now have content. In the next video, as I said a little earlier, we're going to be working with the widgets, finishing that up. We'll look at themes. We'll probably put an image up here at the top just to kind of make things a little bit cleaner. And we will finish up, and I will, at the very end, update to WordPress 5.0 and do a real quick run through of it.